Let me introduce the resource person for the second session, Professor Dr. Faisal Fayaz, CEO, Neuron Technologies, Pakistan, and former project manager, PUCIT, Punjab University, Lahore, Pakistan. He is a Cambridge certified computer science teacher, Microsoft Innovate, educator expert, Vacilet ambassador, Golden Ambassador of 21st DigiSkills, founder and president of Sports Promotion Society International. He is an international advisory board member of International Association of Physical Education and Sports Science. He is also an editorial board member of International Journal of Innovate and Technology of Education, ambassador of Young World Society International and World Voice of International. I deem it my pleasure to welcome you, sir, for the session.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much
Yes,
for
thank
the
you, sir.
wonderful introduction. So, may I start my presentation?
Yes, sir, you can.
Thank you very much. Kindly allow me to share my screen. So, I'm going to do it. Yes. I hope that my slide is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, thank you very much once again that I'm here on this faculty development program, and it's a wonderful opportunity for me that again I'm going to deliver something. So the
Uh,
topic of today's
Neuron
presentation
is
is research
requested to
tools.
mute the mic. Neuron is requested to mute the mic. Okay.
Okay, today I think my now voice is clear.
It is clear, sir.
Sir, please clear.
Okay. So today the topic of my presentation is research tools. We know very well that research is basically always having some new thing which basically uh, resolve our problem, new future challenges, and to find any solution for any upcoming challenge. So when we talk about a tool, so according to Wikipedia, a tool is any physical item that can be used to achieve a goal, especially if the item is not consumed in the process. So tool, it can be anything. It can be any way, method, and you can say through any basically way, you just basically make a innovative or inventive procedure you adopt to initiate any new thing in the world. So informally, the word is also used to describe a procedure or process with a specific purpose. Tool used by humans dates back millions of years, and the other animals are also known to employ simple tools. So if we just look at the past of human civilization, when humans lived in the jungle, then they arranged different kinds of utensils and tools to protect themselves from different animals. And we do not know that how many thousand years ago we are basically now at this stage and the initial stage of the world when it become so still humans find a way, and again basically they introduce a new tool to make and to protect themselves in the world. So as we know very well that wheel is considered the biggest invention in the world. Reason after the invention of the wheel, humans basically become humans find out a way and they are able to transform anything, and they are able to basically run their life easier, transport, traveling, transportation, and there are many things due to which reason in wheel is playing a significant role in our life. So when is the basically what is a research tool? So it can be defined as an instrument in the hands of researcher to measure what they intend in their study. It is a tool which basically just like a controlling measure. It can be a tool to basically speed up the thing, to process the input thing, and after that, tendency to control the tendency of the input processes, and according to different environment and parameter, internal and external, the researcher basically try to basically again form into a new point so that he could basically conclude his or her research. So research, it's a tool. It's a clear thing to all of us. But Again, what kind of tool researcher use in different domains? We know very well there are different tools are available in research, and we have different tools in our daily lives as well. Research tools are materials that are necessary to perform research. All inventions, discoveries, and knowledge can become research tools. It's a systematic study or investigation of something for the purpose of answering question posed by researcher. So whatever the question is there, with the help of tool, researcher try to conclude and try to solve that thing so that a new innovative item or inventive way could be introduced in the world. So objective of the study, what is this? So after this presentation, you will be able to state different types of tools and techniques used for data collection. It's obviously data collection, it's input procedure, we know very well, and distinguish the basic difference between tools and techniques. The tools and techniques are the basically intermediary things through that we can process the data and input procedure, and in this way we are able to basically mingle something, and after basically diagnostic effort and inquisitive procedures and external internal parameters with different other measures, we basically find out and conclude on a single point. So it describes your concept, purpose, uses of various tools and techniques in research. State the tools coming under inquiry form, psychological tests, observation and interviews. So these are simple some of the tools that we often use in our daily life while doing a research. And every research is basically totally concisely work on these basically tools. While working on these tools, while utilizing these tools, researcher become able to basically complete their research tasks. Otherwise, they are unable to complete their task. So it means, so it is a controlling measure as well as processing tool, processing measure for the research as well. Significance of the study. In every research work, it is essential to collect factual material or data unknown or untapped so far. They can be obtained from many sources, direct or indirect. It is necessary to adopt a systematic procedure to collect essential data. Relevant data, adequate in quantity and quality, should be collected. It should be sufficient, reliable, and valid. The selection of the suitable instruments or tool is of vital importance for successful research. We know very well that qualitative and quantitative measurement having a huge difference. So when we talk about quantitative, so it means there is a numeric number and there are number, and in different basically ratios we are concluding and we are measuring the basically research parameters. On the other hand, when we talk about qualitative, so it's all about your descriptive data in form of qualitative that you cannot describe in basically numbers, but you are efficiently describe them, their quality, that it's good or it's excellent or it's very good, something like. Different tools are suitable for collecting various kinds of information for various purposes. So every tool is not, cannot be used for all research things. So every tool having some significant role, difference, and qualities as well. So if there is a literature review and there is a basically scientific review, so there is a huge difference. Science projects, and on the other hand, there is engineering projects. So it varies from basically the category of the project and research as well. The research worker may use one or more of the tools in combination of this purpose. So nowadays, a new basically mixed research method has been introduced in which some of the parameters of qualitative and some of the quantitative are being merged, and in this way, it is considered the good one research as well. Reason, not only quantitative basis, you are also qualitatively including the research as well and trying to cover all the aspects of and the areas of the research as well. The systematic way and procedure by which a complex or scientific task is accomplished is known as the technique. So we know very well whatever the strategy we adopt to basically while using these tools, it's become our strategy or technique through that we try to going towards conclude or something like. Reliability and validity. So we know very well that reliability means the accuracy. meaning that you have the trust. You can say that this one is the right way. The selection of any method for collecting data must balance reliability and validity. So reliability, researchers should address all of the following issues before starting data collection. That whatever the data you are going to input in the system or in the research, it should be accurate and it should not be biased, and it will be natural or it will be pure data. If the data is not pure and unbiased data you are inputting, so your research will not basically create the right outcome as you like. Will the research process consistently measure what it is supposed to measure? So again, there is a question that on which ground we are basically measuring our research. Are we going on the same path or not? In the ease of multiple interviews, settings, or observers, will measurement be consistent? Will people interpret questions the same way each time? So it means that psychological and behavioral and the other factors we basically try to eliminate, and we try to consider that all the things are normal, accurate, and neutral. And if the environment and your research factors and parameters are not basically accurate and they are not natural and real ones, then obviously the data and your research will cannot be basically absolute outcome. When we talk about validity, should make that research information collected is relevant to the research questions. So validity means the related data, relevant material, relevant question and answer that you are basically asking for the research and you are inputting. And in this way, you try to get the same way as basically you want to try to conclude your research. So if your question is not related to your research and your research questions are not basically accurate according to the research, then obviously their outcome will be the worst one. The researcher must consider whether the data collection method produce information that actually address the research question. So again, your research basically also find out some questions for the researcher that what have to do and in which way you have the researcher has to complete that task. If you basically do not cover these things, so obviously these comes in the hypothesis and the basically the way that you have to find out that if the solution is right or productive, then what will be the outcome, and on the other hand, if the outcome is not productive, then what will be the result. So types of research tool, I have mentioned some of them. The major tools of research in education can be classified broadly into the following categories. So these are the basically broadly you can say classification of research tools. Inquiry forms. So if you have inquiry forms, obviously it's inputted. You are collecting data, and according to that, you will prepare some inquiry form. So what the things should be there in your inquiry form? These are your questionnaires, checklists, scorecards, schedule, rating scale, opinions, and attitude scale as well. So these are all basically related to this thing that what kind of the question and the behavior and psychological phenomena will be managed while taking the data through inquiry forms. Second one is observer, interview, sociometry, psychological tests, achievement tests, aptitude tests, intelligence tests, interest inventory, personality measures. So these are again some of the basically types of research tools. So what is a questionnaire? It's a basically broad term and a best tool it is considered. Reason it's open-ended. You may ask anything. You may basically through the mob you can ask and find out the question, and in the way you can open-ended question you may ask to anyone. So it's a well prepared and distributed to basically to the mob or the larger number of people in this way that they provide the written feedback, and after that it will be compiled, and in this way you can find out the outcome. It is a device for securing answers to questions by using a form which the respondent fills by himself. It's a systematic compilation of questions that are submitted to sampling of population from which information is desired. So questionnaire basically try to cover the domain of your research area. So whatever the basically questions are available in your questionnaire, So it's all related to your research area, and it will try to cover the domain and the circles of your research area as well. The reason the research is considered the good one, which is inside or which will not go beyond the boundary of the domain as well. So if you are inside the range and you are trying to cover every aspect of the research, every area of the research, then it will be considered the best one. And we know very well that designing and after that implementation and after that your deployment, it means that what is the real outcome of this research or this engineering project, it will always be valuable. So we all are humans and we have a lot of thoughts, we have a lot of designing, we have a lot of problems, and we have a lot of solutions as well. But again, what we are doing, that how many things we are going to implement and trying to make, try to find a solution for these things. So obviously, we are on the first phase, we are open-handedly thinking and processing, but on the other hand, implementation, only some of them will work on it. Who have resources, who have knowledge, who have background, who have the practice of research and awareness of the research tools as well. Some of the people who are not basically very familiar with the research areas and their tools, so they cannot be, they basically struck some time in their research working as well. So it will be considered the good and best one, that first of all try to involve yourself in research while reading, writing, while working in different research areas. So in this way, you basically get a multi-dimensional approach and instinct that in which way research can be done. So when you become the familiarity with the research methods, research tools, and you have research practice as well, then obviously you can create a better research outcome as well in the future. So this one is not this simple thing that you have a problem and you are working, you are searching, you are scrolling, and after that you are using a simple tool, and after that you are trying to conclude that thing. You know very well that whatever you research, it will always be considered a unique idea or rational outcome. If your idea is not unique, if your idea is not rational, outcome is not rational, then obviously this one is just the wastage of time that you are working on a simple report and you have prepared a report. So uniqueness, rationality, accuracy, reliability, validity, these are the basically final outcome parameters that through that we can basically measure the research success as well. Purpose. The purpose of questionnaire is to gather information from widely scattered resources. So scattered resources are mean that you are not trying to cover only some of the responses from one area. You are trying to cover major areas of the city, country, and some other countries as well. So you are trying to basically get the feedback or the inputted data through different areas. So in this way, the scattered resources will give you some rational outcome as compared to if you just choose only a small area through that you are getting your data. It is mostly used in uses in cases where one cannot readily see personally all of the people from whom he desired responses. So again, the unresearched or inputted data should be unbiased. Reason it's better that you get the feedback not only a single area, try to gather of your inputted data from different multiple areas. So in this way, you can conclude, and there should be diversity of your inputted data as well, that if one of the area is saying and their people responses and questionnaire are saying something and the other area what they are saying. So obviously when we talk about east side and west side, so both of the side having different philosophies, phenomena, and their standard of life as well. Their myths, their customs, their culture, obviously they are different. So according to that, it will be measured that what are the basically difference and the range of the difference we can measure as well. Types, structured questions, closed-ended questions. So it simple mean that you are only discussing about the final thing, that what it is and what do you know about this thing and what is your opinion. So it's Totally closed question which produce data that can be analyzed quantitatively for patterns and trends. So it means that we will give you a form and there is rating is there, and after that without any basically qualitatively or getting out some of our suggestions, we just gather data, adding them, and after that we try to get the percentage, and in this way we will say that this is the percentage of this question while getting 1,000 responses or 500 responses. So in this way it will be calculated. So numeric or quantitative data, it's always basically having some significant measurement, and it can be basically concluded. But problem is this, that it is only close-ended where no third one can put their his or her suggestion as well. It's close only the inputted person, mean from the person through which the question will be asked and what he is thinking about the question. So only two of the persons are there and their response will be on the paper on questionnaire form. A closed question can be answered with either yes or no. Example, do you have a library membership card? So it obviously yes or no. So in this way, after that, it can be measured that how many people are there who have library card and who do not have the library card. So in this way, we can measure and we can judge all things. Multiple question, choice question, it's again a good option for you that what purpose do you visit the library? These are some of the suggestions that I have added in my research tools presentation. Reason you people become familiar that how many ways and how we can do this thing. So what purpose do you visit the library? So to read newspaper, to refer books, to borrow and return books, to browse or to scroll out the internet. So these are some of the things. So in this way we can get the trend and the basically responses that majority of the visitor of the library, what the purpose they have in the basically in the while coming in the library. So in this way, we can conclude that majority is doing coming in library for reading newspaper or for surfing internet. So it can be concluded while getting numerical data and while adding all the sums. Then scaled questions. Responses are graded on a continuum method that rate the appearance of product on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the most preferred appearance. So you can scale some grade 1 till 10, and 1 will be the lowest and 10 will be the considered the highest grade. So in this way you can put the question, and on the questionnaire inquiry form the respondent basically add his number according to his wish or like that he would like to visit a library in future, not or how much. So if he says yes, so it means that he loves to visit library. But on the other hand, if he is saying that he just write down the click on one, so it means that his priority is very least. So in this way, we can basically get the trend and we can come to know the tendency of the respondent as well. Example and types, you can see Likert scale, semantic differential scale, rank order scale. So Likert scale is commonly used in survey research. It is often used to measure respondent attitudes by asking the extent to which they agree or disagree with a particular question or statement. So serial number one is here. You are looking extent unsatisfied, somewhat satisfied, neutral, satisfied, and extremely satisfied. To what extent the information obtained from the web-based resources are useful to you? So this one is simple question, and in this way we can find out the answer. So if someone is saying extremely satisfied, so he loves to get the information through internet resources. So we can conclude, we can come to know that this person loves to work on internet, and internet surfing is basically best thing for that person. So again, ranking, ebooks, e-journal, discussion forum, and database. So ranking you are putting in another column, and in this way you can ask to anyone that write down the ranking, that what do you think of ebook. and same like e-journal, discussion forum, or something like. So ranking after that it will be measured, uh, and it all depend on the basically measurement formula or the basically criteria what he or she has decided for that thing. Rating can be obtained through one of three major approaches: paired comparison, ranking, and rating scale. Purpose of rating scale, it's very clear that it's successfully utilized for measuring the following: teacher performance, effectiveness, personality, anxiety, stress, emotional intelligence, school appraisal, including appraisal of courses, practices, and programs. So these are considered the best one common opinion of any audience. So these are the good one, and teacher feedback and school feedback or the student feedback as well. The tools of research. Tools are chosen to facilitate research tasks. Some researcher need special tools indigenous to particular discipline. So I'm going to skip this one. The reason these have been already I have discussed. Be careful not to equate tools of research with the methodology of research. So this one is the most important thing. So methodology and tool having a great difference. Methodology is this: through that method you are basically going to or doing your research, and tool is the basically main thing through while using that tool, and you are basically interpreting that your research with that tool and to try to complete your research or conclusion or something. Phrases such as library research, statistical research suggest basic confusion. So, statistical research or library research, these are basically some confusing things, so try to exclude. They suggest a failure to understand the nature of formal research as well as a failure to differentiate between tool and method. The library is mainly a place for locating or discovering certain data that will be analyzed and interpreted later in the research process. So in this way you can do this thing. Research tool, specific mechanism or strategy the researcher uses to collect, manipulate, or interpret data. And on the other hand, when we talk about the research methodology, so it's a general approach. The researcher takes in carrying out the research project. To some extent, this approach dictates the particular tools the research selects. So you are looking that tools are abundant we have in our for research as well. And specifically we are using this tool for getting or collecting our data or to manipulating or to concluding our research. But method, it's a general approach, and it basically carrying out or through that you are continuing your research. So it is some extent you can say that dictates the particular tools the researcher selects. So research researcher basically through tools and methodology they adopt and they try to complete their research. Without that they cannot do this thing. Statistics is always inquiry to basic research. However, to insist the use of statistics will deny valid research in non-quantitative investigation. So we have already discussed this thing that statistic is basically giving you some trends or the pros and cons of your outcome or something like. Then six general tools of research: library and its resources, computer and its software, techniques of measurement, statistics, the human mind, language. So these tools can also be basically we can utilize while completing our research as well. Scholar should know its principal resources and understand its classification system and find the shortest route to the information it contains. You learn the library by using the library. So obviously you when you visit something, when you basically involve yourself in some environment in some area, then you can become then you can get knowledge, information, and data as well. So it means that environment is here and environment is also telling us and teaching something in at every time. So it has manual, learn where the various holdings are located, catalog in the heart of library, books, films, film strips, tapes. So these are some of the things that we have. The treasury of knowledge. Many student researchers died a pauper but lived in a house in which a treasure was hidden. So it means that many researchers basically they did a lot of work, but they are unable to conclude their research. While the conclusion is in their front, but they are unable to find them. Usual approach is to overwhelm with multitude of titles, hoping students will diligently seek out, but usually does not happen. So master thing is this, that how you basically conclude your research with the help of your selection of tool rationally and with the method as well. After selecting research problem, the library is the first place to clarify the dimension of the problem. Learn what others have done in the area or in the corollary investigation to receive ideas that help to sharpen the focus of your research. So computer and its software tool of research when we talk about, so www is the world of knowledge. World of knowledge and World Wide Web. So it's the same thing. Web browser, Netscape, Internet Explorer, different things you already have. Email faster and to individual and group. So I'm skipping news. List servers, e-discussion group, many groups with particular interest. So this era is basically a multi-dimensional era. We know very well that without collaboration, without integration of other disciplines and the knowledge, we cannot basically refine our research as well. So our research is not single dimension. It's a multi-dimensional approach, and it will we or every researcher try to basically cover all its related area, mean uh, the quantitative area as well as qualitative area as well, and its surrounding area and the linkage system and linkage area as well. So when we talk about objectivity, so it means perception, impression, and biases. So or it's if it exists, then it can be measured. But this one is the new thing, new era where everything will be discussed, and in this way, they basically you can openly find a solution and you can openly ask to anyone. You cannot basically lonely do any and complete your research. So quantifying its of phenomena, substantial or insubstantial, concrete or abstract, that involves the comparison of data being measured to a pre-established standard. Quantifying means how much, how many, or what degree. You think of the world and its manifestation through the data observed in terms of magnitude and significance. So again, you are covering the area, domain, and its boundary as well. If your research is going beyond the boundary, so obviously it will not be considered the best one. But on the other hand, if we talk about how many respondents and at what degree level you will try to conclude it, so it should be measured and it should be discussed as well. Ultimately must result in a mathematical value. Obviously, the numbers are the clear, you can say clearly give the scenario that where it stands, and it can distinguish between mathematical and numerical number. So we can quantitatively come to know that what is the basically average of this research, what is the outcome of this research. Then it means science or knowledge. Mathematical valuability of scale to measure the data so that we have more knowledge or understanding of the significance of data. Numerical, it's a number, expressed data in a degree or numerical magnitude. So if the thing is 100% outcome, so it means that this one is the best research. But on the other hand, if the outcome is 50 or 40%, so we can say it's only average value, it's having average outcome, it's in front of you. So you are looking in the whole world, every school, college, university having a basically numerical number and scoring system. Even in sports ground, in matches, in our daily life, we have numerical number through that we can basically find out the degree and the value of the things as well. Substantial or insubstantial. Things, objects are substantial. Engineer measure the span of bridge. So exist as concept, idea, opinion on national issues, status of Malaysian business, evaluation of quality, measured by opinion, survey, or index questionnaire or survey something. So now the most important thing, scales of measurement. Through that, you can basically come to know that where your research stands and what is the degree is there. Stevens suggested a hierarchy of levels of measurement widely adopted by statisticians and researchers as means of classifying data. Four types of measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So nominal mean name, can measure data by assigning name to data, can measure a group of children by dividing into two groups, boys and girls. So ordinal, nominal, interval, ratio, these are very important for research. We can say boys groups is larger than girls. So we can basically relating boys and girls, that which group is the larger one. We are giving the comparison. We are basically significantly telling that our research input or output is saying or telling us this thing, that which group was the larger, and due to this reason this outcome will be in front of us. You can also divide the children according to their home address, Bengi or Sardang. It is elemental and unrefined, but it divides the data into discrete categories that can then be compared with each other. It is common. So you are looking this graph. Number one can be represented by graphic and statistical devices. Bar graph for comparative measurement can locate mode, finding percentage of relationship, one subgroup to another, chi-square or something like. So you are looking at boys and girls, the description and pictorial representation is in front of you. And you can clearly tell and find out this thing, that what is the outcome. Ordinal, think of quantity being measured in terms of the symbol and higher or lower, greater or lesser, younger or old. Always an asymmetrical relationship. Level of education grows beyond ordinal. Unschooled, primary, secondary, college graduate. Workforce, unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled. So in this way, you can find out the level of the person, level of the skill, level of the quality or instinct of something, that what it has. So now you are looking this graph, expand range of statistical technique. So how much male having the what kind of range of knowledge. So you are looking at male having more basically semi-skilled or unskilled, while on the other hand girls or female having more skilled, more semi-skilled and unskilled. So in this way you can find out the difference clearly. And this pictorial graph is telling to us that male side is weaker and female side is basically higher. Reason they are skilled and they are semi-skilled as well, and unskilled numbers are also less than male. Interval, two features, equal units of measurement, 0 point established arbitrarily. Most familiar of interval scale is the thermometer, what is the freezing point and the boiling point for Celsius and Fahrenheit, 0 till 100 and 32 to 212. So starting point and the ending point. And in between, what is the difference? So in this way, you can find out that what's the difference you have. Common use in the rating scale -5 point, measurement of academic teaching effectiveness. Normal body temperature of human is 97.6. So if our temperature basically go upper, so it means we are becoming sick or ill. And on the other hand, if our temperature is going to down, so obviously again it will not good for health. And same like our heart rate, our pulse rate, it will these all physical parameters, body parameters having some ranges and intervals in which the doctor and physicians and the basically surgeons basically find out that what will be the treatment will be given to patient. There are some specific medical tests that cannot be done if your body, if your blood having some unnecessary parameters and unnecessary thing in your blood, and your some of the blood parameters are not stable, then doctor will wait to become stable, and after that they will try to make your test or something like. So interval basically, if this interval basically tell you the normal condition, the worst condition, and the good condition as well. So in this way, you can also find out a way that this thing is possible at this time or not. So same like in medical science, doctor can never do any operation if the person blood or his medical condition is not stable. So through interval they can test, and after that they decide that what should be the treatment given to the patient. Can determine mode, mean, standard deviation, t-test, f-test, product movement correlation, or something like. So again, it will tell you that what is the mean, standard, t-test, f-test. So in this way you can find out all things. Ratio, a scale that measure in terms of equal intervals and absolute 0 point of origin. Difference between interval and ratio. Thermometer, we cannot say 80 degree Fahrenheit is twice as warm as 40 degree Fahrenheit. We cannot say this thing because it does not originate from point of absolute zero. If it is, then we cannot measure temperature below zero. So in this way we can find out the things. True zero is the total absence of the quantity being measured. Cannot measure minus distance. Can be used for determining the geometric mean, the harmonic mean, the percent variation, and all other inferential statistical analysis. So in this way we can find out the ratio and we can do this thing. Measurement summary, it's in front of you. If you can say that one object is different from another, you have a nominal scale. One object is bigger, better, or more of anything than another, you have ordinal scale. One object is so many units, degrees, inches, more than another, you have an interval scale. One object is so many times as big or bright or tall or heavy as another, so you have a ratio scale. So in this way, this measurement summary and this basically your measurement tools will help out to conclude your research. Validity and reliability, again, it's very important that your questions, your data inputted, your method should be validate or reliable. You cannot choose anything which is not reliable or valid without any validation if it is. Two very important consideration, validity is considered with the soundness, the effectiveness of the measurement instrument. Example is standardized test. What does the test measure? Does it in fact measure what it is supposed to measure? How well? Well, comprehensive. How accurately does it measure? Scale that measure professors' availability, always available. What does always mean? So in this way you can tell, you can mean 24 by 7. You cannot say that a person is always available in the university or in the office 24 hours in a week. So it means that he's not going to go anywhere in the world, and he's not moving to washroom or for food or lunch or something. So types of validity: face validity, criterion validity, content validity. Relies on subjective judgment, must answer two questions. Is the instrument measuring what it is supposed to measure? Is the sample being measured adequate? So again, that the target, the problem, the concept is being targeted or not. So this one is directly validity. We can find out by this face validity. Criteria, the second as criterion reliable and valid, and the check against the accuracy of the first measure. So which one will be the good one? So criteria you have to set that if a person is getting 100% score, so you will say he will be the topper. But on the other hand, if second boy is one number minus from the 100%, so you will say he will be the second one. So you have to set some criteria If a person jumping 7 feet high and the other person is jumping 5 feet high, so obviously 7 feet is the high jumper. And same like we can set some criteria, and in this way we can find the skill and the level as well. Same like content validity is most important thing. Equate to face validity, accuracy with which an instrument measures the factors or situations. It means that you have to basically discuss the content which is available in the world of your topic, concept, or the problem. It's what is available and what you are introducing. So content validity, literature review, it's very important. So it's all come to this thing that what the content is available related to this concept or idea or project or the basically philosophy. So you will do this thing in research, literature review, and in this way you can get the content validity of something. Construct validity concept that can be directly observed or isolated. The measuring instrument must be able to discriminate or differentiate the construct. So again, you are going to discriminate one thing and you are trying to get some difference as well. That how many difference, how many up and down is there, what is the difference, and in this way you will try to develop basically find a gap, the two things.
So, sir, can you hear me? Sir, your mic is muted. Sir, do you need any help? Sir, your mic is muted. We couldn't hear you, sir. You have to unmute your mic.
He can be texted. Message box we can inform him.
Sorry, ma'am.
You can inform him with the in the message box.
No, ma'am. The chat has been it's not available
Disabled
for
again,
us.
you can ask admin
Yes.
to enable it.
Okay, ma'am. Admin, can you please
Ma'am, it
enable
is
the chat
available
box?
now.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible
Okay,
now.
due to some internet glitch, I was not able to basically
No
do it.
issues, sir.
So I was there time of validity.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so internal validity, the freedom from bias in forming conclusion in view of the data. And then obviously external validity, that conclusion drawn from a sample be generalized to other cases. So both of the things are there, that you are internally and externally you are validating that whatever your research and tools is going toward the right outcome or not. So validity looks to the end results and it's measuring what we think, according to that it will measure. And reliability, what accuracy does the measure? So your test, instrument, inventory, questionnaire, what it is intended to measure. So reliability will tell you that how much accurate your research. So statistics as a tool of research, we know very well. All tools are more suitable for some purposes than for others. So screwdriver was designed to insert and remove screws, but people often use it for punching holes, scratch away paints, or some misuse as well. So two with statistics, statistics can be powerful tool when used correctly, but can be misleading when applied in other contexts as well. So we know very well that mean, standard deviation, t-test, and the other things, these are all basically helpful, and these are basically giving you some right thing in front of you. It is academic disciplines useful in academic discipline. It is very useful, and it obtained never any end of research nor the final answer to the research problem. So the final question is, what do the data indicate, not what is their numerical configuration. So statistics gives information about the data, but a conscientious researcher is not satisfied until the meaning of this information is revealed. So it means statistics try to basically help out the researcher to purify the research and the data as well. Statistics can never ever give you any numeric number or something. So the lure of statistics can be like the voice of beware of sirens to the novice researcher. Subjecting data to statistical routines may hire novice researchers to thinking they had made substantial discovery. So again, it will help out to you to find out your purify your data and primary things. Primary function of statistics when we talk about to describe data, data inference from the data. Descriptive statistics summarize the general nature of data, average, variability, closeness of two or more characteristics, etc. So I'm skipping due to some reason. Primary functions of statistics, human beings have limited capacity of memory, and we know very well that we have volatile memory, short-term capacity, short-term every instinct we have. We cannot survive without food 10 or 15 days. We cannot run um, continuously 1,000 kilometers or something like. So we have all short-term memory, short-term capacities as well. And again, our memory is volatile. That whatever we have done, if we will not continue our work, then it cannot be fixed in our mind as well. So statistics help condense our overwhelming body of data into information, and mind can comprehend. So body data comprehend, and in this way human are able to understand that what will be the outcome. Helps researchers see patterns and relationship that might otherwise go unnoticed. Mean if the things are going on wrong side, so statistics problem or primary function of statistics will clearly describe about this thing, that your data and your tool and your methodology is not on the right path. So in this way, researcher can basically control and mold the research to set it on again right path. Help the human mind comprehend disparate data as an organized whole. So statistics can tell us the center spread relationship of data, but cannot interpret and derive the logical. Only mind can do. So mind is a logical thing, and according to mind is the most important tool as well. Nothing equal its power of comprehension, integrative reasoning, and insight. So still science is science is unable to explore the full capacity of brain. Experts or the computer scientists or the researcher believe on this thing that 15,000 billion cycles per second is the speed of human brain. And in after the 2025, they are able to develop a microprocessor which having same human brain like speed. So human mind strategies to make use of human mind to better understand include deductive logic, inductive reasoning, scientific method, critical thinking, collaboration with others. So it means you will try to settle and you will arrange your thing and mind and your thinking level and your basically whatever information and data you have collected. According to that, you will try to resolve your problem. Planning begin with an understanding of manner in which knowledge is discovered. The sole aim of research. So Einstein, Newton, these are the person who basically studied the nature, and after the basically studying and understanding, they developed different laws, and they are in front of us, and we know very well that mean they basically while thinking and through the mind they rationally finalize these laws and describe to the whole world. So same like deductive logic, inductive reasoning, and scientific method is in front of you. Skipping inductive reasoning, origin of scientific method. So we know very well that this world now everyone is basically comparing and try to relate one thing to other, that this one is good one and this one is the bad one. This vehicle is good, this man is this intellect person's intellectual level is very high, while or the other hand second person is not good or something like. So scientific method is there into meaning. When facts are assembled and studied dispassionately, they frequently suggest hitherto until this time the undiscovered truth, the scientific method, the method that searches after knowledge. The method that searches after knowledge. So gained real impetus during 16th century, such as Paracelsus, Leonardo, and Copernicus. So they developed different scientific method, and in this way they introduce and tell something to the world. So truth is sought by identifying the problem that defines the goal of one's quest, positing, positing a hypothesis that, if confirmed, resolve the problem, gathering data relevant to the hypothesis, analyzing and interpreting the data to see whether they support the hypothesis and resolve the question that initiated the research. Critical thinking. So scrutinize for faulty assumption, questionable logic, and weakness in methodology, inappropriate statistical analysis, and unwarranted conclusions. So these all basically tell you this thing. And critical thinking and critical thinker research, they always introduce a new thing to the world while interpreting different things through the human brain, critical thinking, scientific method, and other things as well. So verbal reasoning, argument analysis, decision making, critical analysis of prior research. So these are some of the critical thinking resource processes through that you can do this thing. So critical thinking, one of the question I have mentioned here, example in computer science. So what do you think? So in this way, you critically think that what it is computer science. So according to me, I will see that computer science is this through that it's a machine which think like or process like human brain. So experts or engineer wants a machine which think like or process like human brain reason, and mechanical engineers, electrical engineer, and all fields of engineer and scientists, they have developed a lot of things, but still there is one deficiency, one lackness is this, that they are unable to develop a basically clone of human brain. So still clone human has been created, but again, what the significant difference was there, that the clone persons having no memory, mean their brain age is just like a newborn baby. So collaboration with others, we have discussed that one is basically Education Framework 4.0. So this one is open. Everyone want to share, communicate, and deliver. And in this way, we can get help as well to improve ourselves. So collaboration is this, can be equal partners, simply offer suggestions and advice. You can basically get solutions and other things. Language as a tool of research. So humankind greatest achievement, facilitate communication and think effectively. So due to shortage of time, again, I'm skipping some slides. So this one is the last one, writing to communicate. Say what you mean to say. So this one is the most important thing. Then keep your memory objective in writing your paper in mind at all times and focus discussion accordingly. Provide an overview of what you will talking about. Organize your ideas into general and more specific categories. Provide transitional phrases, sentences, or paragraphs that help your readers follow train of thought and the use concrete example to make abstract ideas more understandable. Use appropriate punctuation, use figures and tables, conclusion of chapter or major section, and anticipate that you will almost certainly have to write multiple drafts. So these are the research tools that all the tools and type I have discussed in front of you. Thank you very much from my side.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, questions? Do you have any questions? Participants, you can unmute your mic. We have posted the feedback link in the chat box.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you very much, sir, for this good presentation. I am Hafizullah Sheikh from Srinagar, Kashmir. Are you listening, sir?
Yes, I am listening.
Good evening, sir. I'm Hafizullah from Srinagar, Kashmir, sir. So it was a thought-provoking one. I would just like to know that you talked about quantitative and qualitative research. Then you give an idea that today a mixed type of research which consists of both qualitative and quantitative research. So do you
Yes.
agree that presently the focus is on quantity more and less quality? This is one point which I want to know from you a little bit. And second point, sir, you talked about biased and unbiased research. Within the ambit of my subject, political science, I understand a little bit. In what perspective can you explain this biased research in science?
Right. So the first question it's about your quantitative and qualitative. So you are right that mostly research is in terms of quantitative, not in qualitative. Okay. But again, there is a new trend it's going to up where mixed research method, which will be basically at a broader term, it will be considered more basically bigger research as compared to quantitative research. Reason what happened, what the researcher do in their research, that in one research paper they cover one area, and in second paper they whatever the loopholes they have found out they will cover in the second paper and second area or nearest area of the research as well. But on the other hand, when we talk about a mixed research method, So in mixed research method, it's a new method, and again, it's not a small thing. In it, you have to cover all its related area in terms of quantitative and in terms of qualitative. So you can say that to cover a specific area or in limited boundary to do your research, it's good. But again, if you will talk about quantitative and qualitative, so obviously the boundary and the area and the size of your research become larger as well. So this one is the one of the thing. Second thing is this biased and unbiased data collection. So you know very well that if one of the basically feedback, if we give one person which is very close to us and the other feedback form who basically is not good us and who do not like to us, so obviously the person who like to you, he will basically try to write down according to positive. But on the other hand, though the second person who does not basically like to you, so unbiasedness is there, that he will not put the right or fair judgment in the feedback form. So this one is the answer of this thing. And thank you very much, Hafizullah brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Ishaq. I will extend Brother Hafizullah's question that there is some kind of forced research and motivational research going on. And the motivational research finally culminates into qualitative research and the forced research. Forced research, I mean that especially in the faculty in colleges and universities, usually people are asked, rather forced to do research. There can be aptitude for teaching for certain people. Certain people might be having research aptitude, and some people might be having that administrative acumen. But in the institutions of higher learning, what is usually done that the people are usually asked to do research uh, what they are not comfortable with, and maybe they are very good at teaching. So, what kind of safeguard? And that is why UGC came with the statement that 95% of research is all trash, and only 5%, and among the 5%, the quality and the implementation part, then it is very meager. So, what is your take on this? And your presentation was really thought provoking, and I think this small query may be answered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac brother. So the one of the thing is this, that you are right that while allocating any research area, the basically administrator or the authorities do not think that it should be given to a specific person who want to work on it. Second thing, his or her interest is should be given to value. Mean one of the person who want to do a specific research, it should be asked and it should be granted as well. But on the other hand, we know very well that in at government level or at state level, that sometimes it is basically allocated, or you can say it is being ordered that you have to do this thing. So the simple answer is this, that um, everyone have to basically think of this thing, that research is not basically like this thing that you can make a slave to a person and then the person will love to do research on specific area. It should be researcher require peaceful environment, healthy environment, rest, as well as resources, accommodation, and obviously finances as well. Reason is this, that person is going to innovate or invent something which is basically best or which will be all for the human mankind. So government or the other authorities should work on, think on this thing, that when a researcher is going to introduce a new thing for the human mankind, So it should be valuable and respect should be given to the researcher, and all the basically interest and other factors should be considered of the researcher as well. Thank you very much, Ishaq brother and Hafizullah brother. I'm really glad that you people are here and you basically put your comment here as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Dear participants, any more questions? Then let's wind up. Thank you, sir, for enlightening the session on research tools. Let me conclude the session. Sir talked about the importance of research tools for a successful research. The research tools which bring the best result of any research. It throws light on the different types of tools, distinguish between the tools, techniques, concept, purpose, and uses of various tools and techniques in research. Every research concisely work on these tools. He insisted on the reliability and the validity in research by using the tools, the accuracy of the research, questionnaire, and its purpose. Finally, Sir gave us the understanding on the research tools and the research methodology. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Let me propose, yes, sir. Let me propose the vote of thanks for the sessions. I quote, by continuing to learn and grow, we strengthen our chances of achieving our dreams and living our full potential. And I think this 1 week International Faculty Development Program would have been a highly informative and enriching the knowledge sharing session for all of you. I'd like to convey my sincere thanks to the Professor, Dr. Enki Leda Lulaj, for the informative session on the process, design, methods, and problems in research, a critical analysis. The second resource person, Professor Dr. Faisal Fayaz, for enlightening the session on the research tools. I request the participants to kindly fill the feedback form. The link has been posted in the chat box. I now request Ms. Subha Jasmine, Head and Assistant Professor of Department of BA English, for her concluding remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Rohini. Good day, all. It was really wonderful connecting with all of you through this virtual platform for this entire week. I sincerely thank the resource speakers across the globe for taking time from their busy schedule and sharing, interacting, and enriching us with packed information for this 1 week on diverse areas like learning methods, teaching methods, research methods, methods in social science research, process, design, methods, and the problems in research, research tools, importance of similarity index and impact factor in published journals, in highly indexed journals, LCCD, the 4 steps classroom teaching method, and the concept of teaching and mentoring. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. It requires meticulous planning and execution. At this juncture, I would like to thank Dr. R.S. Regin Silves, President, Cape Comorin Trust, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Shubhra Jambal, Coordinators, Dr. Shailaja Vasudeva, and Dr. J. Shobana, for collaborating with IQAC, Department of English, Shift 1, and Department of BA English, Shift 2 of Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashun Jain College for Women for this international virtual 1 week faculty development program. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. For the conclusion, I now propose the note of gratitude of the faculty development program. We have come to the end of our international virtual 1 week faculty development program on teaching, learning, and research organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, the Department of English, Shift 1, and the Department of BA English, Shift 2 of Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashun Jain College for Women, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, in collaboration with Cape Comorin Trust, India. Right from day 1 till day 7, which is today, this FTP has become has been a great opportunity for all of us to enhance our knowledge on various topics related to our teaching and learning. We, we have our participants from across the globe who were involved in this FDP with so much dedication and sincerity. Now, it is time to thank everyone for having contributed towards the success of this FDP. To begin with, I extend my gratitude to Dr. Regin Silvers, President, Cape Comorin Trust and Organizing Committee for extending their fullest support and cooperation for the successful completion of this FDP. My sincere gratitude to the management, principal, vice principal, research director, and the program coordinators of Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Shashan Jain College for Women for their constant support and guidance. My thanks and appreciation to all the resource people for being with us and sharing this expertise on given topics. My heartfelt thanks to the heads and the faculty members of the Department of English whose contribution are significant for the execution of this FDP. I thank all the participants for their dedication and involvement in this international one-week faculty development program. Your presence with us on all days made us feel happy and encouraged. Thank you so much.